All right, guys, NASCAR Truck Series at Daytona, the Fresh from Florida 250. Pretty epic race, solid race, the official beginning of the NASCAR's Top 3 Series season. And it was a good race, guys. So there were big expectations. There's a lot of rookies coming in this year. You got Tricon fielding 5 cars, including Tony Breidinger. They've got a whole host of guys on that Toyota squad, right? But I want to talk about Corey Heim and Chandler Smith. So Corey Heim, he's in an interesting position because he's in that 11 Tricon Toyota, right? Now, Corey Heim, he's been performing well, and he's had opportunities in the Xfinity Series, and I believe he even had an opportunity in the Truck Series. But he hasn't moved up yet. I think he has a resume to be in Cup by this point. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does as far as this year. He needs to come out with a bang in these first couple races. Wasn't able to do it, and we're about to get into that. But then we really got to take a look at Chandler Smith in that 38 truck, because Chandler Smith is a guy that was looking up into the Cup Series in a top ride with JGR last year in the Xfinity Series. Couldn't find funding, couldn't find a seat, puts together a late program in the year, and fortunately was able to get a full-time ride in the Truck Series. That is no easy task with a top team. And to quote him, he's looking to potentially get a championship. And I think it's kind of it's championship 4 or bust for Chandler Smith. Not because he's not a good driver, but that's just the nature of the sport, guys. So, Truck Series at Daytona. We start off Friday night, and one of the guys that I really like, Caden Honeycutt, late model guy and iRacing guy, he's out in front in Daytona.
And slip him to the inside.
Leading the race, ends up crashing on lap 4.
Was just battling for the lead now, hard into the inside wall.
And slip.
So, Honeycutt out. Good opportunity for him to race at Nice Motorsports. Glad he got that. Leading the race, he's taken out on lap 4. Then, as we get into stage 1, Tony Breidinger ends up wrecking, and we get another caution. End up coming back, and
green and white checker flag in the air. Ben
Thor Sport
Rhodes
driver of the
wins
99.
Stage number 1.
Ben Rhodes wins stage number 1. So, in stage number 2, you got Matt Crafton.
Parker Kligerman in front of him.
And he ends up winning the stage. But then during green flag pit stops,
plan worked out until
Clay Greenfield smashes into the
wall. That'll bring out our 6th caution.
Brings out the caution and kind of shakes things up a little bit, right? So we got green flag pit stops going on. Crafton had won stage 2, and it was going to be, you start stage 3, and all of a sudden you had 60 laps to decide it. Midway through, they're making pit stops. Clay Greenfield brings out the caution, which now sets the stage for, no, you don't need to pit. You just pit under caution, get your stuff together. And then this happens on lap 83.
Yeah.
A green flag takes out a lot of contenders.
Yeah,
Crafton, as you can see, Carruth going down in to the bottom. Crafton out, Rhodes involved.
I think there's a checkup early.
Breidinger involved.
Ahead of him. When the 11
on lap 83.
Let's watch that back one more time. It's already kind of started.
The 91
there.
of Jack Wood.
Back to
the
the
07
view.
McDowell involved.
The 11.
So the first big one of the weekend
in front of him.
really shakes things up at Daytona. Now I want to talk about a guy that is new in the Truck Series, and that is Giovanni or Gio Ruggiero. And around lap 83, this guy was lap 83. Sorry, the last 10 laps, he was leading the race. And this is his first race, mind you, ever. And I think he's with Tricon. This is his first race ever in the Truck Series, and he's leading at Daytona. Not only is he leading at Daytona, guys, but Ruggiero is making blocks like a vet. He's coming down, coming up top, good car control, doesn't put a foot in the wrong place all race. But now here is what you guys have been waiting for, and the biggest news of the weekend, and one that we still haven't gotten any official word on, and that is, of course, the climax of the Craftsman Truck Series at Daytona, this last lap.
And with Johnny Sauter behind him, and
here comes the run for Johnny Sauter. If he could hang on to his truck.
He's got his teammates behind him. Ben Rhodes goes up, gets into the trucks on the outside. Ben Rhodes goes around.
So they wreck. Okay, so they wreck there, and the caution light. Maybe I should have done a better job on extending that clip a little bit, but the caution light doesn't come out for a while. And then they're kind of racing through turn 3. Corey Heim is catching up to Parker Kligerman, and then it does come out. So this is the exact same scenario happened here as in the Cup Series. The wreck happens on the backstretch, and then in the Cup Series they kind of let him race like nearly to the finish line, but then here they only let him race halfway through turn 3, and it ended up that Mr. Parker Kligerman takes home the win.
Forward, and he just got it.
Parker, this is Daytona. You just won at Daytona, bud.
Daytona, Regan, come on! Let's go! Biggest win of my entire life. Thank you, Don and Charlie Henderson. I wish they were here right now. Scott, we did it finally! Scott.
Okay, so Parker comes up with the huge dub. And to be honest, I thought that it was amazing. I was watching it from my couch. This was the only race I didn't attend this weekend. And I was watching the last lap, of course, and Parker Kligerman, he was moving his way up through the field throughout the race. I think he got marred in the back for some reason, but then ends up winning. And of course, super cult hero, celebration, amazing. But then late after, they announced that Parker gets disqualified. And I found that really, really disheartening because, I just had Parker on the podcast last week for episode 1. So I was like, damn, that'll be cool. Not only for that reason, but I like a guy who can make it on his own. And I just feel like every time he kind of gets an opportunity to win, something happens. And I'm just tired of it. And hopefully guys will have some news on the Parker Kligerman penalty because they are appealing this. But let's take a look at the results, guys. Any notable finishes here? So Ruggiero finishes second. Great on your first race to finish second at Daytona. Corey Heim comes out of the gate with a win. Chandler Smith does pretty good in 6th. Now, I want to take a look at the 18 of William Sawalich. I mean, no, he's not in the 18. He's in the 18 in Xfinity. But Frankie Muñiz gets the top 10 because Parker Kligerman is disqualified. So, awesome for Agent Cody Banks, Frankie Muñiz. Any other guys to watch? I would say Andres Perez de Lara, former Rev Racing recruit. Really, really good driver. I believe he's obviously of Hispanic descent. And he is being sponsored by Telcel, which is a big Hispanic conglomerate. They got a lot of money. Other notables, Caden Honeycutt in 35th. And Raja Karuth in that 71 Hendrick Cars truck. He finishes back in the pack after that lap 83 incident. So, final thoughts on the Truck Series, guys. It was a good race. I liked it. A lot of new faces in different places. But all in all, great race, and I think a great way to kick off the weekend.